You ever felt like you was doing everything right and you still feel off? Well, this is what I've been doing to reset. I've been focusing more on myself and my brand. I've been eliminating distractions, including people, places, and things. And not to mention, I've been pouring back into me and my wellness. That may look like a walk at the park, Pilates, or going to the gym, lifting weights, or just journaling and meditating in my room. But those are the things I've been doing when I'm feeling a little bit off, because not to mention, I am a mother of two, and I have been building a business, a vegan skincare line called Glow with Purpose. And everything seems to have been going like really well, as far as me getting wholesale partners, going on shelves, from me expanding my marketplaces, like being on Walmart.com, being on the TikTok shop, doing pop-ups, like all of the things. And not only that, but I've been working on myself beyond just working on my brand and my business. So I've been going to the gym, focusing on my physical health. I've done the therapy and the inner work to work on mindset and, elevating as far as my personal development goes. I've been taking care of myself emotionally as well, but something still fell off. And being in a state for 4 years, I desire connection. I'm starting to desire companionship more. My heart has always been open to love, but I feel like I'm more emotionally and mentally ready in this stage. So it causes you to go out on faith and be more social and make connections that you will hope will be more aligned and like-minded. And I found it being a lot of misalignment fatigue. People will come in your life and everyone has a persona that they may fulfill as far as their role or what they play or how they play in your life. Whether they come in wanting to be business partners, whether they come in wanting to just be friends, best friends, whatever the case may be. And as I was building my brand and knowing that I can only go so far by myself, I know I needed to allocate and build a team. And they always say don't build a team with friends or family, and they say that for a reason. Now granted, there's always an exception to the rule, so if it's working out for you, congratulations, but it's not a norm. And I see why. As I was building my team and trying to grow within business, as well as funding everything myself and not having a job for over a year and just been fully self-employed, it was a struggle. So I did accept people into the space of being collaborators and trying to build this business and brand, while still trying to save money, but energy be more of the value that I add to the space. So although I wasn't able to necessarily pay these collaborators directly, I was able to either put money in their pocket from opportunities, helping them within their brands, within their entrepreneurship journey, connecting them in rooms that were aligned for them, where they expressed they wanted to go, or helping out with, giving them clarity within a vision that maybe they didn't have, or direction and path that they may want to go in. And being that person to connect the dots and put people together while helping myself and helping them grow, right? But I realized that sometimes people are not ready for what they say they want. And that's where the burden came in and the misalignment came in, because I worked so hard to be a consistent person and actually do what it is that I say I'm going to do. And I realized that a lot of people did not have that, which made me more than just a collaborator at this point. Now I'm in mentorship mode, and although I didn't mind being a mentor in certain aspects, it became more of a dependency of handholding and pressure and pushing and all of the things. Like, you can't want something more for someone than they want from themselves, and that's either in business or in relationships. So once I came to realize that this is overwhelming for me and it's slowing me down, it brought me to a place of being more behind than I was when I was operating solo and executing plans. Um, so although it wasn't a fail, it was definitely misalignment, and that doesn't make them a bad person or doesn't mean we can't change the dynamic of the relationship or connection that's being built. So I decided to pivot, and instead of having specific people be a part of my brand and business and operating from that space of entrepreneurship, I decided to make it more of a casual friendship. And after me changing the dynamic, it did feel much more aligned in that moment. It felt like less pressure, it felt like more clarity. And as I realized, as time went by, I started to allow people into my space and became more vulnerable based upon them being kind or showing up as nice or showing up and consistent as they were in friendship. And I didn't see that same consistency within their business and within their life, but they were consistent as being like a friend and trying to show up and be there as moral support. So I respected that, and I love that for myself as I'm trying to build a community of like minds and friendship. And just me being always an authentic person, I've always find myself very vulnerable when I do connect with people, and I am naturally a communicator, so I love to communicate and verbally express how I feel. But I realize not everyone deserves to know and be that close to your vulnerability. And just because people show up as a role of being Mr. or Mrs. Nice Guy or being consistent, everyone has their own intentions and everyone have their own motives. And that's not to say that their motives were toxic or their intentions weren't pure. It's just to say that it wasn't aligned. What I mean by that is the values are not the same. And anytime you can come across a nice person, that don't mean that nice person is for you spiritually, energetically, or even professionally, and personally. So I went through an experience of trying to be close with particular people who I thought were friends. And when I started seeing how they moved as far as lack of boundaries and as far as lack of integrity, and also no loyalty, that is really big for me. Someone could be as nice as day and do all of the things, but if the values are not aligned, you're going to clash at one point in time. And there was many instances that I was trying to build a rapport with a particular person and given as much grace as I possibly can, and started to run across this same pattern over and over again. Like, it wasn't just a one-off thing where you will communicate something and then once you express a boundary or whatnot, it then can be settled and move forward. This was a character flaw that I've noticed in a particular person, that this was their lifestyle, this is what they're bound to, this is okay for this person. Like, they don't see it as a negative, a lack of loyalty, just a people pleaser, trying to be nice to everyone, giving everyone access. Like, I don't feel safe around people like that emotionally, because it's like, if I'm open and I'm vulnerable with this particular person and you're giving the same kind of energy to everyone else as you are giving to me, and I'm giving you exclusive benefits off of the fact that I'm thinking we're building a friendship, and I don't take that lightly. Like, people who are in my inner circle that get access in close proximity to me, I am the type of person, I'll go above and beyond for my people, um, from my overflow, of course. But I'm not going to do the same thing with associates. I'm not going to do the same thing with colleagues. I'm not going to do the same thing with people I'm just meeting. You have to earn that kind of access to me, right? And it's just a matter of knowing your worth, and also holding people where they're at. Not everyone is ready for the level of intimacy, the level of vulnerability as the next person. So if I see someone being consistent with showing up for me, or I'm opening up to them emotionally, I'm getting close to them in any aspect, whether if it's physically, emotionally, um, any of those things, that's something that's special to me, right? I don't take that lightly, because I'm not just giving it out. I'm not just out here doing the most or doing everything with everybody. So if I hold you to that standpoint, and I'm trusting you with my vulnerability, I'm trusting you with my value, I'm putting you on game, and I'm not gatekeeping certain information, because I want to see you do better. I want to see you grow. But I also understand that that is something I'm doing exclusively for you, because of the bond and the connection that we've built. And you are not that kind of person that stand on loyalty. You're somebody who will give access to anyone freely, willy-nilly. That's not okay with me. I can't be friends with people like that, because at that point I feel like anything that I tell you, you could be going back telling the next person. It could be shared with the next person. If someone harmed me in any way or cross a boundary of mine and not tell you, you will still be okay with that. You will still be smiling in that person's face. You will still be okay with accepting the fact that someone you're calling your best friend or your friend, that if they got hurt by a particular person, you're okay with that. I can literally tell you to your face, like, oh, this person I don't deal with on this level because of X, Y, and Z. This person has crossed me in this way. This is the boundary that I've set with this person. So I'm telling you out of openness to know, like, okay, you already know that how this person is coming. But instead of going based upon what I've experienced with this person, you would initiate yourself to still go out of your way for the same people I'm telling you that I'm not comfortable with going out my way for. And we're building something together, right? So that, to me, having that lack of loyalty, it goes beyond just loyalty. At this point, it's a lack of respect. It's you clearly don't respect me, right? Because if you are a true friend and you respect someone, you will want to protect them. You will want to safeguard their vulnerability. You will want to be that type of person where it's like, okay, this person confides in me, and I'm going to cherish that, because I know that they're not going to be they don't have that space for everyone, but they created that space for me, so I'm going to cherish that. And if that's not cherished, if what I'm building with someone is not intentional, then I know that they're not for me. And if it is casual, that's okay, allow it to be casual, but don't go trying to build an emotional connection. Don't call me your best friend. Don't act like you're going out of your way for me and you're helping me and you're doing this for free and you're doing that, but behind closed doors you're really doing that for everybody. And then you're doing it for the same people that I'm telling you about that I'm not comfortable with. To me, that's a lack of trust, a lack of respect, and disloyalty. And I think that is a thing that is misaligned and very rare to come by these days, which is really unfortunate. So with that being said, I just want to express the importance of what it looks like to be misaligned with someone and what to be aware of. Everybody that comes to you as a kind person don't mean that they're for you. Everyone who shows up in your life consistently doesn't always equal character. Okay, some people just show up consistently because they're bored. Some people just want somebody to talk to. Some people are filling voids. Some people are just nosy and want to be in your business. Some people love gossip. Some men have female tendencies and just want to be in your space and soak up that energy because they're not able to get that same attention at home. So just be aware of who you call your friend. Be aware of people who show up and paint an image of Mr. and Mrs. Nice Guy. I'm not saying that all people can't be trusted or that all people that is kind is showing up with a persona, because there is a lot of genuine people out there in the world, and I consider myself to be one of those people. But it's been very rough coming across people that are like-minded with that same kind of energy without it feeling transactional or without it feeling intentional at this season of my life. And I'm cutting off all distractions. That's how I reset, is just by getting back to the basics, meaning I'm pouring back into me. I'm going within. I'm not being dependent on someone helping my brand grow. I'm meeting new people. I'm holding myself accountable. I'm not allowing people access to me as easily anymore. I'm not as open and vulnerable to people just because they're smiling in my face and they're being kind. That is all part of a mindset and a mental glow up. And that's what I wanted to get on here to share, because not everything that glitter is gold, and the same thing that comes with people. Some people that show up consistent, we think, oh, this person is a committed person who is loyal, or someone who is dedicated, and you think it's because of the bond that you're creating and the dynamic that you're creating with this person, when really they're just doing it because they lack something that you have. They want maybe the confidence that you have. They want the energy that you have. So they'll come around and soak up your energy, and that's called energy vampires, because they can't find it within themselves. So they place themselves in your life so they can be able to borrow that energy from you. And then for you, it just becomes a big ball of distraction, where it's like, I'm thinking someone have my back, but really they're just coming around to soak up my energy. And by the time they say soak up your energy, you're feeling drained, you're feeling lost, you're feeling confused, and all the time that you wasted on conversations, hanging out with this person, building with this person, was all for nothing. All for nothing. And then you're back to the drawing board again. So I won't say that it's a waste of time, because there's always a lesson learned, and there's always something to gain out of each connection, whether if that is just using more discernment and it's strengthening your intuition, helping you read people better, or if it is just knowing to not be so open and not be so vulnerable. All of those things we have to always hold ourselves accountable for, and I'm big on holding myself accountable. So after experiencing so many different misaligned personalities, there is a thing called misaligned fatigue, and you get burned out, you get tired of dealing with people, you get tired of feeling like you want to connect with people. But don't allow it to make you jaded. Don't allow it to turn you bitter towards people. Just make sure that you raise your standards, and make sure you stand 10 toes down on your boundaries, because that's exactly where I'm at in life and what I'm doing in this season. No matter how much I desire companionship, no matter how much I would love to have a supportive friendship group of like-minded people and having things reciprocated, because I am a natural giver, I would rather be patient and take my time and not settle for anything below my standards. Because what I've noticed in a lot of relationships are people settling, and then once they settle in their relationships, they feel unfulfilled, and then they start looking outside of their relationships to fill voids. And I would hate that for myself. I would hate to be that person that works on myself and do all of the things to have to settle for someone I'm not 100% fully happy with, and my needs and my wants are not being met. Granted, every box may not get checked, but if the box is not getting checked to the point where I have to step outside of my relationship to feel complete, to feel happy, to feel less stress, to feel less pressure, to feel like a void is being fulfilled, to feel like my true self, to gain understanding, then that is a relationship that is not for me. And I've seen it happen so many times. And I feel that a lot of these married men, they are really the most single men there is, and it's because of them settling, because maybe at a time or a place in their life they were young and now they outgrown each other, or maybe they just got together and seasons changed, and or they maybe never expressed what it is they really wanted in a companion, or maybe they just didn't understand what it was until they met someone that brought that side out. So it's so many different reasons of why people are settling these days, but that's exactly why I'm currently single now by choice, because I want to make sure that even if all my boxes are not checked, I still feel fulfilled within my relationship. I still feel like my main essential needs are met. I still feel like my main essential wants are aligned with the person that I'm with. That way I don't have to go out feeling like I need to feel certain areas and desires, or pillow talk with someone else about my relationship, because at that point that shows character too. That's a lack of faithfulness, that's a lack of loyalty. And I don't roll like that. So with that being said, I know I have to align with people who think like me, who stand on those principles like me, who are standing on value and stand for something, because it's a lot of people out here who's just living and doing the most and doing anything and don't stand for anything. A lot of people don't even really understand true love, because love is more of an action. Love is shown through respect, and if you don't respect your partner, even if your partner is not around, then you really don't know what love is, and you're really not even loving yourself. So that is the word of the day, and that's where I want to close out with. Make sure that if you're also feeling misaligned or you're feeling off and you're still doing all of the things, just take a step back and really reflect on what is going on in your life that is causing you to feel drained. And then I want you to do a process of elimination where you're getting rid of distractions, you cutting the people off who are not serving you or adding value to your life. No more repeated cycles. And then we're going to go ahead and move forward from there and stay on that path. And I know it's not easy, because breaking patterns and strongholds and desires, it's not an easy thing. That's what personal development is for. So make sure you're doing that daily. Make sure you have your toolbox, whether that's journaling, therapy, talking to someone you can trust, a walk in the park, meditating, whatever it looks like for you. Make sure that you're doing those things on the regular. It's channels like this, like mine, with personal development and mindset and glow up, that will help you through your journey, because we're also experiencing the same thing and we understand exactly what it feels to be in this space, and we're growing and glowing together. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And thanks for tuning in.